Welcome to the second installment of the podcast, of the horror podcast, as it's called. My light's a little bit off. It's just starting to get daylight. I was hoping to do this last night, but I was just too tired to do it. So I said to wake up first thing in the morning, get this over and done with. And episode 2 is going to be talking about. There's two things I want to cover in this podcast. This one may be a little longer than anything else. Is why do we haunt? Why do we hunt ghosts even if we're diseased? Dead. It's another word for dead if my words can be pronounced right. If we die, why do we still haunt the place? Because we're connected to that part. But why do hunters hunt the ghosts that are connected to that place? I would say just let them do what they're supposed to do. Get the unfinished business done. Then they can leave on their own. And have someone else do the job for them. Unless they're connected to that and they can't leave them alone. I can see that. But when that happens, pardon me, like I said, I'm just waking up. The other thing that happens with that is if they're connected to that place, that spiritual energy, maybe the other something precious there, maybe they did something wrong, There's a lot of reasons why we do it. And yes, I'm talking about when we die and we're connected to that. Or unless you're connected to that person. If you love someone that much, your spirit's with them, and that's the whole point about it. The other part to that is, why do we hunt ghosts in the first place? To get knowledge on them, apparently? Maybe. Or to get rid of the spirit that's haunting that place, like an evil entity that, let's say, was a serial murderer at the time. Who knows about that? And it's just saying, when you think about killers like Jack the Ripper, a couple other, Jack the Ripper, a couple fictional characters like Dracula, they murder people out there and everything. And Walt the Impaler as well, which is an actual guy that used to put one stakes on the top of people that do it. The other thing is that why do people kill people or survive? It depends on the person and then the individual itself. The other thing is with that, if that person killed, let's say in 1940s, and got death row, he would be coming back on the person that is in today's society. I don't get it. It's unexplainable to where it does. And it shows the commitment to the ghost, or to the spirit as it's called, to be attracted to this person. I don't think bad people should be able to do it. I think they should stay in hell where they belong instead of haunting the person that put them on death row, that they were cross lovers, I think that's what they want to do. The other reason is this, and I'll explain why in a minute. And I thought about this long and hard last night. Like, God's gonna do it tonight. But we had the people we're staying with right now, their kid was rambunctious. I couldn't do it. And plus, we have a rambunctious dog around here, so I couldn't really do it either. Because he jumps up and down too much. No offense, Peter. So, but kids are kids. Animals are animals. It happens, okay? Don't play it in the comments, say get rid of the mutt or discipline the kid because it's not my kid. It's the owner's kid. And I got no say in the matter in that one. But kids are kids, animals are animals. It all depends on, like I said, today's topic is basically on the individual himself. You can't deny that. But when it comes to the thing of haunting the place where you murdered somebody, or they're connected to that place because they were connected to that one area. 9 times out of 10, you're obsessed with that one area. I mean, granted, a lot of people do get obsessed with one thing, but they don't stick with that one thing in today's society. I got the problem, you know. Like I said, I'm starting this. I got a gaming channel to go through. It's not easy on the YouTube channel. But that being said, the hardest thing is with that was, why do we get connected to that small visual area to where, and we get somewhere that is a cold spot and we're hunting the ghost. So when we get to that cold spot and we know that's the place they did, but if you back up too soon or back up 5, 10 steps in and you feel a cold spot, they're connected to that area. And 9 times out of 10, that's the mystery behind it. That's the riddle behind it. To where a lot of investigators are baffled, and a lot of people are baffled. Even I'm baffled. Why would this person stick with the one thing? If they're connected to the past, go up to heaven, go down to hell. Just leave the business alone. You're no longer alive. You know? The problem with that is that if they have a very strong connection with the person or the place that they were around, they might have been around the block several times in that one space. So when you think about that, you got to think about one thing to another where it's not capable of doing the actual. But now if you do an exorcist, that's commanding a demon that is drawn to that one area, trying to get rid of the demon is another thing. To where they're saying that it's gonna be like, look, you do something wrong, or you do something to harm the person, and you die, and all of a sudden and their spirit's still with them, even if, let's say, 50 years have passed. You know, and if the bad person is still with them, in today's society, if they're haunting the wrong person, let's say the daughter or the granddaughter of that person that lived and is still with you, and they are the grandfather or the grandmother, depending on where you are, and that spirit still haunts you and it follows you everywhere it goes, what do you say to that? We got no explanation why that happens. Burn my stomach a little bit. But as this whole thing about this is, why do spirits or stick to that one person or stick to that one place, and why do we haunt them? Why do we hunt them? Because we get first-hand knowledge of what these guys did. You do the research, you do what you can. Simple as that. I'm not going to bore you with the chemistry about it. And chemistry, I kind of flunked in school, so. I don't know how it works. It's new to me. But when we die, it depends if we go to heaven or hell. It depends on how these ghosts react, how the spirit reacts to that one spot. And they're stuck between a rock and a hard place. When you think about a rock and a hard place, it's something that ghost hunters are babbling about is why are they stuck between the one end to the other. That's going to be the toughest part of the whole thing. When they do this, they have to admit it. And if they move it like a coffee cup, for example, they're telling you something. Where, they're telling you something. Let's say, get out of the room. This is my personal space. That's what mostly the ghosts are trying to do in today's society. Is saying, look, this is my personal space. I own it. Do what you can. Do what you want, but leave me alone. That's what they're saying. For most ghosts, for most spirits, that's what they're saying. The other thing is, a lot of investigators won't leave it alone because until they reach the breaking point of the person that they're trying to investigate. And I've seen it too many times in documentaries to where they are doing. A lot of times they're messing with forces they can't comprehend. I mean, once we die, depending on who we go, how we die, when we died, it doesn't matter how you die. As once you're gone, it happens when people die. The other part to this is, why do we haunt ghosts? Maybe to get rid of them in the building. Maybe to get rid of the person that they're haunting. Like I said, this past, one second. Rose, when your son died 2 years ago?
A year ago.
Year ago? A year ago, we just lost a family member. But, and I would say a year before that was my father, right? A year before that, I lost my dad.
And your uncle.
And my uncle at the same time. But then a year later, we lose another family member, which was my aunt's son. On New Year's, can you believe that? It was karma right there. And karma can be a bitch. Pardon my language, but it is. And I don't believe in karma as much. And to a certain degree, I believe in it. But their spirit is with them, even if they're gone. They're sticking with that person that they loved. And I'm talking about good spirits here. And I'm not talking about any bad people. But if the bad person is connected to that one place, let's say Al Capone, they just investigated Al Capone years ago. And I think it was Ghost Hunters. They investigated his cell. And he was attracted to that cell because he lived like a king. So, whatever this person did, they're attracted to that one area because they've been in confinement for so long. Until he died from syphilis. And syphilis got the better of him. Well, the second episode here, part 2, would be, let's go big on one segment. I think they just did the paranormal hunters that I looked into. It's more, oh wait, yeah, this is the second segment, and this one might be a little bit longer than the one I just talked about. Like I said, this one might be 30 minutes long, 33 minutes long. I don't know how long this video would be, but I will go back to that topic in a minute. But they just did an investigation on the Bellevue High School in Oregon. And I looked at that story, and it was like, how many people were killed or murdered when they were still in school, and why would the janitor was killed? I mean, everybody dies, but the one thing about that investigation I looked at is it shows your first-hand knowledge. And what they do, I mean, if you believe in it, you believe in it. Me, I kind of believe in it to a certain degree. A lot of times they'll take it out of context when they do the documentary or do an investigation. A lot of times investigators will take it out of context. So I believe it to a certain degree that the person should haunt the place because they have a passion for it and they have a connection to that place. The other thing is with that, could there be any way of knowing the certain factor of this? If they're haunted by that one place and we hunt them, there's a difference. There's a totally big difference to where they haunt the place. But why do we haunt? Or, now I'm combining both of these now. Why do we haunt the one person or haunt the place to where, or haunt the person to where we can't let go? That's the whole reason. The spirit or the ghost, depending on how you say it, can't let go of what they have. A lot of times, they're. There we go. Unsolved business. My aunt just said it. And a lot of times that does happen. But the question is, why does it happen? They're dead. They don't have a reason to finish the unsolved business. Their spirit still lingers in that area. And paranormal investigators are babbling about this for about almost 10 years now, I would say, right? 10 years? About 10 years or so. And paranormal investigators are babbling about this. I mean, unfinished business where they get, but they're connected to that one person for loving them, hate them, or they just want to kill their ass. Pardon my language. But that's right. I'm right about that. To where they're saying, look, I want to stick with this person for the rest of my life, even if I'm gone. And look, I have unfinished business because I got screwed out of the money, or screwed out of a gold bar, or screwed out of gold coins. It happens with that person. The other thing is to that, we don't know why we do the things we do after we're dead. Unfinished business is one of the reasons. The other reason is that paranormal investigators can't figure out how long have they been staying in that one place. And why do they have the unfinished business still after doing everything else? I mean, once you finish your business, you're compelled to stick with that area. And a lot of scientists and paranormal investigators are babbled on, and a lot of doctors are babbled on why we have to have unfinished business. I mean, I come from a Christian family, and my mom was not such a jerk, and my aunt kind of really believes that, and my grandma would still be alive. They would say to me, and I can quote her on this, and she's laying right next beside me right now. We're between the mattress and the couch here, and she could quote me on this. Unfinished business is one thing, but, and I can quote her on this, why leave it there? It's in the past. Leave it. I would say this to any ghost if I got into a paranormal investigation. I would say to him personally, see, look, you're dead, you've done unfinished business with this thing for, let's say, 2 years you've been haunting the area. Just let it go. Just let it go. go up to heaven and go down to hell, where you can't do it anymore. You're no longer alive. And I would say that to the spirit or ghost, depending on how you say it personally. The other thing is to this, they don't know when to quit. And that's what's babbling paranormal investigators and scientists and ghost hunters to this day is why they have unfinished business. Why are they connected to this person? Why are they connected to this place? There's no alternative reason to it. I mean, let me know in the comments down below what you think. To where, okay, we're doing it this way. We got to. Because, like I said, they just did Bellevue High School or something like that. From Ghost Adventures or Ghost Hunters or something like that. And it's a YouTube channel they have that does paranormal investigations and everything. Because I remember a couple of good people there, like the janitor or the girl that they investigated, to where I fell asleep on the rest of it. Granted, it was a good show, but I slept on the last 10 minutes of it because it was supposed to be an hour long. So, a long hour investigation. But they say to where they can't leave this place. They're babbled between it. And when you mess with something that they have process value to, or they've done so much work to that part of that, animal object, or whatever you call it, or a tool they use, like a broom, a mop, a bucket to wipe the floor, or a sink to clean your dishes. They're connected to that one spot. To where a person could be a neat freak, a person could have been a murderer, a person could have been a ballerina dancer, a game show host. Doesn't matter. They're connected to that one spot. So, this episode would be a little bit different. Why do we hunt ghosts? That was the one part. The other part to it was the Bellevue High School part. They just did the investigation about. I have to relook at the hour and I'll let you know in the next podcast. Or maybe I'll do a small clip of it on top of this one. But it was just a few hours ago they just did the investigation. And it kind of baffles me that they had unfinished business, like the girl that was murdered. It was an unsolved homicide, and the killer was never caught. But the problem would be, how come the killer hasn't been caught yet? This episode was a little hard to do, is why we hunt ghosts in a certain way. Maybe a lot of hunters are Christians, a lot of them are, and they want to make peace with that spirit. Get rid of them in that one spot. Let them go up to heaven. You know, if it's a good spirit. You know, if it's a good ghost. You know, depending on how you say it, but we call it spirits mostly in my line of work. When they call them spirits, it happens. The other thing is, when they get connected to that one spot or somebody, they can't let them go. You know, it's a mystery to everybody when they come towards it, to where they're saying, look, I'm connected to this place. You can't boot me out of it. You know, that's what we're saying to the hunters and the ghosts, the paranormal investigators, and the preachers, depending on if you have to preacher with you when you're hunting the ghost. You know, that's the hard part about it. They preach to them. Even the preachers are with them. You know, they'll preach to the dead. But it's like, I think a lot of preachers and the Vatican, along with a couple other people, from paranormal investigators to us, is why we have unfinished business when we're not. When we're dead. I mean, when we're fully dead, we should go up to heaven or hell. But why do we have unfinished business? The mystery behind that, I don't think we could never solve it. And in my book, I don't think we should be able to solve it to where it's an impossible riddle. And I don't think it would be solved for another hundreds, maybe another 1,000 years. We won't get the answer. And I think the hardest part would be when they take a look at that, you think about it, and then when you have that answer, it's unfinished business. You always had unfinished business when you're dead. As human beings, we have unfinished business, let's say from a gambling debt, or we have unfinished business from our last job and we just got fired. You want to punch the boss out or the owner of that place out. It's unfinished business. In reality, we have that. Pardon me. Someone's been gurgling a little bit, and I do apologize. But now, let me know in the comments down below what you think. Should the ghosts have unfinished business? And on the other hand, the second part to this is, should we be able to hunt the ghosts to give them peace? Not just to torment them. So let me know in the comments down below for those two answers. Do they have any recollection of ghost hunting? From the hunting side, to talk to these people and let them know about this incident. Maybe. The other thing is, why'd you ghost hunt people? Because they have unfinished business. And let me know in the comments, what would you do if you had unfinished business with, to where you're connected to that toy, connected to that wrench, a screwdriver? Let me know in the comments, if you died, what would your favorite thing to be connected with? I mean, let me know in the comments. I mean, I'm dying to hear your solution if you're connected to something. Like, I'm connected to my phone all the time. I'm on it all the time, 24/7 almost. So I think this right here that I'm looking at, and I'm talking to you guys, it's like, whatever you can do it. So let me know in the comments down below. This is John Vick for podcast episode 2 of the Paranormal Podcast. Sign off. Take care. Have a good day. Enjoy this episode. It's going to be a long one, so grab some popcorn. Have a good day. Enjoy the rest of your day. Hope to talk to you tomorrow morning. So until next time, take care.